Simon, we're back at the Holts Sealed bid.
We are, yes. Our live auction is now done and we move on to our sealed bid, which finishes on the 10th of April, and there's several hundred guns to look at in there.
Today we've got 20-something guns to go through.
We have. Some of them are sleepy, good quality, some of them are cautionary tales, so...
Yeah, there's a couple that are very much worth bidding on, and there's always a few, but some of these are particularly special, so let's get after it.
Let's do it.
Today's first gun is the worst gun we are gonna look at today. A little bit of a cautionary tale. We've been coming here into the sealed bid for years, looking at the best, looking at the best bargains.
Yep.
And I think it's fair to say that sometimes, if you don't use your brain, you might accidentally overpay or get overexcited by something like this.
Yeah, condition reports are available on all of the lots in the sealed bid. It's important to say because if it's cheap for a reason. This is estimated at 40 to 60 pounds. It's a box lock ejector, English box lock ejector for 40, 60 pounds. It's gonna have problems, and this has problems.
Box lock ejectors start 200 to 300.
Yeah.
Would be where they start.
Yeah.
That's an okay place to start.
Yeah.
This is not. Can you run us through some of the issues?
Yes, so effectively you can see it straight off actually when you open and close the gun. The top lever spring is weak. The top lever it's in the same postcode, but barely as the rest of the action. You can see just by looking at it, you don't even need to hold it up to the light, that it's off the face. And off the face means that there is a significant gap between the standing breech and the breech of the barrels. Yes, that gap
the face
there.
of the action
exactly
and the face
that.
of the barrels.
Exactly that. So we're missing our horn finial there, which is not structurally an issue.
The second indicator is you're also missing the gold safety slide.
Which is probably most of the value of the gun here. It's loose on the action, very loose on the action. There's significant dents in the barrel. So it really is, and pits all the way down both tubes. So you are looking at not a rescuable gun, to be honest with you.
It's quite rescuable if you threw £6,000 into it.
If you were, well, yeah, if you were looking for parts for a similar gun, then it's worth buying for that, because some of the parts you could take off this and possibly machine to fit, possibly you might get a safety spring off it or other pieces that could be used elsewhere.
Restock. Did you say restock?
It's almost certainly a restock.
Yeah, it's a restock as well.
Yeah,
which doesn't really matter on a gun of this kind of already nasted nature.
Yeah.
Screws all out of line, bent out of line. Look at that.
Yeah, that's recessed.
That's odd.
That's sitting down. That's not right. It's worn in almost every plane. But we're looking at a gun that
none of it lines up around the stock.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the condition report on this gun would take significant length of time to write, just because we describe all of the problems, and this has more than one.
And it's not inherently the end of the world.
No.
But if you wanted a gun, this is like the auction nightmare.
It is a bit.
If you didn't know what you were buying, you thought, that's great, I'm going for it, and you spent £100 on it, it would not be an intelligent spend of £100. There is a lot of intelligent spends of £100 and more, which we're going to go look at now.
Yes.
Let's get rid of this.
Okay.
We've just seen the worst of the sealed bid.
Yeah.
I think this is the best thing in the sale.
I'm inclined to agree with you. This is a cracking pair of guns for not a huge amount of money, and there's lots to like here.
What are they? Talk us through what we've got here with lot 6595C.
C, because they're in a case. The case is probably the retailer's case. It's not the case that they were made with out of the factory necessarily. This is a pair of Luigi Franchi side-by-side 20-bore hand-detachable side-lock ejectors from 1960.
So when you think of Franchi generally, we think of modern Franchis, which are serviceable bargain guns, right? Good, solid guns, but they're not special. I'm aware that in the early days of Franchi, up till about that sort of 1980 period, they were considered one of the best gun makers in Italy.
Yeah, and this is the reason why. The quality on show here, yes, I mean, they've got a few knocks and scuffs, but that's all surface. Well, you've got to look,
they're older than you.
You've got to look deeper, haven't you? You've got to look below the scuffs, the knocks, the dents, and the slightly heavy varnish, and just look at the quality of gun making on show here, because these are really, really nice 20 bores.
Things that stand out to me, the flat point checkering is delicious.
It is.
The headwork.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen that, but it just is an indication that it took a really long time.
It's got 2 angles on it.
Unnecessarily, and it's beautifully. We talk about wood to metal finish.
Yeah. It's really,
This is
really
aged in
nicely
beautifully.
done. Yeah, it's really nicely done. It's cut in and then cut down to fit perfectly. It is really nicely done. The shape is beautiful. There's a slight just belly to the action profile. It sets it off beautifully.
Like a Spitfire's wing, that. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. And the handling bears this out because they handle absolutely beautifully. Real partridge guns, these.
You could have a lot of fun with that.
Spanish partridge.
And not awful stock specs either.
No, they're not.
Like, a little higher than you might find in some other 1960s guns. It's nice. It's Italian, right? There's a bit of chonk to it, but it is a really nice thing.
It is, yeah. I mean, other little touches of quality. You've got removable disc set strikers. You've got a really nice, crisp little safety. It's a non-auto safety, Continental style. So, you know,
just be aware of that. Yeah.
On the barrels themselves, you have the actual name of the steel used. You've got Demi-Block Vickers Steel Superchromato.
Interesting. So it should be relatively rust-free.
Yeah.
Which is good.
With the inclusion of chromium, that is an indication. But the fact that they went so far as to name the type of steel on the barrel that they used gives you an indication of the fact they're proud of it.
Right, this is a premium gun. And £1,500 to £2,000 in my head?
Yeah.
This is main sale stuff. This is too good for the sealed bid.
Arguably, yes, but the sealed bid is rising in quality all the time. There's a simple reason for that. We're seeing more and more guns coming in for auction for a variety of reasons. Some of that's, down to what we're doing well. Some of it's changing in the market, changes in licensing. So it's not all good news that we're seeing lots and lots of stuff, but we're seeing a lot more come in, and what that means is...
It's quite nice for us.
It means we have a lot more to look at. But what that means for the 2-day live auction, there's only so much we can fit in without killing our auctioneer, because he's already pretty knackered at the end of 48 hours worth of auctioneering, and we rather like him, so we want to keep him alive. So we have to increase the volume of the sealed bid. So it's no longer where it was 10, 15 years ago, where it was just a solution to a problem in that we had too much stuff and we had to put stuff in a sealed bid because that's the only way we could actually sell it.
It's now its own respected entity.
It is exactly that.
To the point that something marginal, like a under-respected maker, let's say, like Frankie, because people just know it for, I don't know, like the Altione or something like that, not a particularly exotic gun, will sneak in there and you could get a very solid pair of guns.
Really nice quality pair of guns.
Be nicer with 30-inch barrels.
Look, they're 20 bore. They're designed to handle fast. They're designed to move quickly, game guns. Everybody wants 30-inch barrels now because we're all coming off a sporting clays course and then trying to shake the same techniques into shooting game. These are built different from a different era.
That trigger tang is tapered ever so slightly.
So it is. I've just noticed. Yeah.
That is...
I wondered what you were pointing at. Look at that. Again, that's just the sleek lines. It begins to widen out to mirror the shape of the stock as it widens from the hand into the stock proper. It's nice. It's just nice touches everywhere.
This is the one that I was most excited to see lot-wise. Even like just that little dimple in the end of the screw there.
Yeah.
Just it's a good-looking thing. Yeah. And I wanted to see them because I knew they were going to be good, and they're better than I expected.
They are.
And, it's a sealed bid. You're probably not going to get them if you put $2,000 on them.
No.
I think these are probably undervalued.
They are.
But
they're at a price that attracts people to look at them. If we put them in at $5,000, they're not going to sell. So we have to put an estimate that is attractive.
And they'll sell for what someone desires to pay. But if you're after a pair of 20 gauges to go and shoot good average game with, you'd have a lot of fun.
Bit of choke all round, so you can vary it to your heart's
They're going to be 70 mil all day long.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, one-piece short rib going up to the loop.
That's nice, isn't it?
It's always a sign of quality as well.
Anything that takes extra effort, right?
Yes.
Because making a gun is a relatively simple thing. It's not. Making a quality gun does take some effort, but you can make a really simply made, robust gun. The finery is, it's a bit loserish to get turned on by a tapered trigger guard, but that is, I don't think I've ever seen it before. No. I think it's lovely.
It is. It's really nice. It's very easy to cut corners. It's very hard to maintain a high standard of build quality.
You're talking to the chief corner cutter here, so... I love those. I really do think that's a nice thing.
No, you'd be very happy with these, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Never seen a pair like it. Would like to see another pair one day, preferably in my ownership. Welcome to the Holts Sealed Bid Shotgun room. There's a whole nother room full of rifles, as you already know. I'm automatically drawn to the gun that is as tall as me. What is this beast? 6,000. Black powder, blank max service, 15 grams black powder, London Proof 24. So it is a newish build by W Bond. Muzzle loading 4 bore or 2 gauge. Pretty cool, right? The fact that this is shoulderable is obviously a little bit of a joke. I mean, look at that. What a silly thing. In my head, this isn't really a shoulder gun, this is a bank gun. A bank gun is a gun for shooting off the top of a bank on a marsh onto geese or ducks, or sneak over a bank. There's ducks roosting on the water and you bag them. It's a market hunting gun. I mean, perhaps the fact it's a modern gun, it is designed more for shoulder shooting, but that's pretty cool. But on a slightly more serious note, I don't know what that is. I wonder what that's worth. Can't be a great deal, it's not quite finished. This is a bit more practical. Lot 6623 is an 8-bore Safari by Yugata Chair. These guns are actually pretty solid. Yugata Chair made some okay guns. You know, they're not the best, but they're undoubtedly robust. And their Safari range of 12 and 10-bore guns can be had very reasonably. I wouldn't have thought this will be any more than £400. I should probably check the lot details. But you could do that too on the Holts website. It's not going to be a huge amount of money. Beware, 10-bore shells are findable. 8-bore ammunition is harder to find. So you best be learning to make your own. Because if you don't, it's going to get either very expensive or very, very sparse. Sometimes in the auction houses you can find some ammunition, but you know, it could be dated, it could be terrible, and if you've worked all day to get the chance of a shot at a goose, or if you want to go and shoot some big pheasants, you want to have the best ammunition possible to maximize that. So learning to reload is kind of handy. What's interesting is it's not super heavy. It has got longish tubes, but it's not a horrific gun to handle. You think 8-bore and you think, yeah, that's gonna be a cannon. 8-bore is not too bad. They do kick. It's when you get into 4s and 2s. That's when pain hurts. I mean, look at the tube size difference between these two guns. Pretty cool, huh? This is lot 7187C.
Other way up.
It is. I'm on the wrong side.
You are.
Oh, hello.
The straps were, they're not original, they're in the wrong way around. Oh, look at that. This is the beauty of working in an auction house. This is our first look at it.
I've said many times, as soon as the sealed bid auction comes up, I put in Purdy, Boss and Holland to see what bargains may arise. For this is a Holland & Holland side lever hammer gun with a pistol grip.
Yep.
In original condition, black powder proofed 28 inch? Were they 30? They're 30 inch barrels.
They're 30 inch all day long, if not a little
for
bit.
For £1,000.
They are 30.
For £1,000.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you look at the practical stuff. I'm just going to fall off. Look up.
I've fallen in love already. I've moved on to the practical stuff.
Look.
I'm way ahead of you. Okay, this isn't great, but it's not too bad.
I sound like you. It's nice when you can just see like 100-year-old crud on there.
You sound like me.
Nobody has messed with this.
It's not been polished for sale.
Special.
It's not been polished for sale. Please don't polish for sale. It just puts everybody off who knows what they're looking at. So yeah, original proof marks, black powder only, not for ball.
So joke and
nice.
None. Hey, that is good. What did you do there? Share the...
Okay, sorry. So this is just a little test. You hold it. What we're testing here is the top and the bottom rib. If there's any looseness, then it will not ring like a church bell. So there are degrees of ring as well. Some ring really true, beautifully like a bell. Some ring okay, and some ring dull. And we will differentiate in our condition reports whether it's ring true, ring okay, ring dull.
Ring dull means there is rust or looseness.
It is an indication of the rib coming away, which will mean a strip and relay and re-black if they're blacked, or re-brown if they are Damascus. So yeah, they ring true. There's also a way to put a gun together. So please don't just thrash them together.
It's quite fun.
Grip them above and then just control it on so that it goes together nicely.
It
okay?
sounds not bad.
You don't dent the flats of the barrels or the action, and you don't
just
ding.
do the clinkety clunkety annoying
It just looks a little bit professional. Now, this is a little loose, but that can be fixed. And you can hear it.
Oh, yeah.
It is quite
It did
loose.
snap nicely. I thought for a second that we were going to be lucky. Again, if this wasn't in some kind of tired condition,
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
it would be in it. So
Well, yeah, and it would also have been heavily restored if it wasn't in a tire condition. This does not look like it has ever been restored. So you're not working against trying to refix something that has already been done to a low standard. You're starting from scratch effectively, which is good.
barrels should measure okay, otherwise that would be mentioned in description, right?
Yeah, if they didn't measure okay, we would say bore measurements marginal. If they were out of proof, it would be in the stock action of forend only.
This is a treat.
Has been there some time. That is original canvas tape from around about 1930, probably, just because somebody clearly couldn't grip the trigger very well.
Or was banging their finger into it somewhat. Who knows,
Yeah, maybe on the second barrel. But normally the bruising comes on the middle finger up against the trigger guard. But the pistol grip is a lovely shape. There's something about gun stocks of this era. One of the major failings we have in modern gun making is the fact that we do not get stock shape, pitch particularly, but also the bump at the heel and the toe kicking out enough. They're very straight these days. There's a reason that most old muzzle loaders from 1850 come up beautifully. It's because the stock shape is completely different. That comes up beautifully, doesn't it? Yeah, that's an old-fashioned stock design.
This could get actually quite expensive, you know.
You'd want to restore that, wouldn't you? That's a cracker.
Like, if you are going to have an old gun to shoot,
That's a cracker.
I mean, look at it.
Look
You
at the
could put
woodwork.
that on a front cover of Holts magazine and feel like that was a pretty good looking thing.
The lines on it are stunning. The trigger guard has got extra length in it and the perfect shape. If you took that woodwork...
Horn is...
Yeah, the horn cap is lovely. If you took the woodwork out in the sunlight, you'd actually get an insight into what it would look like properly restored. It's so worn, you can actually feel the difference in texture between the colour of the wood.
You can just see in here the original checkering.
Yep, it is there.
This is an honest gun. That's my Simon Reinhold appraisal.
Yeah, it is. It's very honest, warts and all, in fact, because it's pitted, it's dented, it's riveled, it's loose on the action. So, and it's black powder only. Let's just be clear on that.
I mean, it's not awful.
It's not awful. It's not beyond, I don't know, it's beyond repair, but it takes some serious work from a proper high-level barrel maker, Bill Blacker being one of those guys who could do that. And it's best to get some advice from people like Bill to get a proper assessment of how much something like that is going to take to get back into a high state of repair rather than the low state of repair.
I think this is probably a classic case of I couldn't afford to restore it properly.
Look, what do you want to do? Do you want to throw 2-3 grand at a gun, or do you want to throw 2-3 grand at a gun, get that back up to a level?
Yeah, I mean, if you run this down, so this gun is in at 8 to 12. Let's say that you want to win it, you put 15 on it, you're in for 2 grand basically.
Yes, you
at
are.
the end.
Yeah,
You might be lucky and get it for 1,800, all in, commish, the works.
maybe.
Which is still not bad, given that just to buy the base of this project is going to cost that.
Yeah.
Stock restoration, sympathetic, $250. A lot more if you wanted to get it back to original. Don't do that.
Yeah. I like the wear. Don't go too heavy on this. I like the wear. Don't rechecker that to a low standard because it will just look and feel dreadful.
Service and cleanup, $250.
Yeah.
Rejoint on something like this by somebody who is
good.
the best. I can think of 2 people who I trust to do that. Probably $1 grand.
Yes.
Barrel work, that's a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah.
And I don't think I'd want it rebrowned.
No.
But I guess it depends how much work they have to do to the outside. If
Yeah.
there's a lot of silvering and filing to get it good.
Just have a quick look there because that's actually a repair. So that has been broken and repaired.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Sorry, it's just appeared. And as I say, this is our first look. So we've got excited. And this is actually a classic case of what happens when you come to the seal bid is you go gun blind for the first 10 minutes. You open a box, you get this excited, and then you start having to engage your rational brain and going, right, let's look at that. That is a weld repair on that side lever. It's not bad, and and it can be filed down to look good again.
You could probably throw another £300-400 at getting
that's the problem.
a little nicer.
It works. And we've only just spotted it because our rose-tinted spectacles have fallen away now.
A lot of rust and crud there, right?
And we're now looking with a critical eye, which is what you have to do with a gun of this age and in this condition. So this is what we all go through. It's not like, you know, we don't get excited as jaded cataloguers or jaded, you know, operatives at Holts Auctioneers. We do get excited, but then we have to engage the rational part of our brain.
Yeah, I think looking at those things in the barrel, you are going to have those summer hammer downs. You're probably going to have it rebrowned.
Yeah.
All that work.
Yeah, it is easily.
If not a little.
Probably more.
More.
Yeah.
So what we in there? 1, 2, 2, 6 grand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
But if you saw it in the condition you'd have it in at the end,
you'd say
for
that's
6
worth
grand.
6 grand. Yeah, you
you'd
would.
snap it up.
That's the thing.
But it's a big commitment. I don't know, it's difficult, right? Because you could just do, all right, buy it. Mm-hmm. Next year I will. Next year I will.
Yeah.
And if you're a patient man,
yeah,
which neither of us
I've got a rack full of next year I will.
are, patient, planned and determined man,
yeah,
or if you just had the money sat there and didn't mind giving it to the right people for 18 months and you got it back in 2 years' time, I mean, you'd have a gun.
You really would. It's not currently a shooter, but you throw some money at it, and then keep throwing some money at it after and after and after and get it up to a level, depending on your budget, whether you can justify doing it. I think it's worth it, personally.
If you got
because you got to have the passion for these things to actually agree with me that it's worth it.
Yeah, I think.
And there are people out there who do.
Yeah, I mean, 6 grand's neither here nor there to a lot of people.
True.
And if you want a side lever Holland hammer gun, it's not a bad price to pay.
No.
And on that bombshell, I'm way less inclined to, like when you actually look at it, the reality is like, I could buy that and put it in the rack and it would just be like, I've got 10 guns like that I never did, and most of them moved on because you have to be real with yourself about, I could do everything from there back.
Yeah.
I couldn't do the barrels.
No.
I wouldn't want to rejoint it.
No.
I'd want the best in the business to do that because it's important.
If you're going to do it, get it done properly.
But even then, you're still in for 4 and a bit grand. And that's more money than I've got right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not patient enough to wait 18 months to have it done. So
it depends on your priorities. I mean, there are people who throw 30, 40, 50,000 pounds a year at clay shooting.
5 and a bit years, never seen one here that I've been here. That's nice.
I've seen similar. I saw a live pigeon Holland side lever hammer gun in the collection of a friend of mine that I fell for instantly until I saw the price tag. He had it up at £18,000.
So what you're saying is, this is an investment.
No, I'm not saying that, because this isn't a live pigeon gun.
No, and it's not.
But I did say to the gentleman who owned it, I said, that is one of my holy grail guns right there. A live pigeon side lever hammer gun. Side lever hammer guns are cool. They just look cool.
Hey.
And with the pistol grip as well, it suits me, suits my style of shooting. The stock shape's lovely. But the work required, you need to be realistic about.
Of all the guns I saw, this is one of the bargains I was desperate to see. There is not many places in the world where you can get a Barazzi for under £1,000. Holts Sealed biddies, sometimes one of them. But the pictures on this, lot 6167 Barazzi Mirage S, looked pretty good. And so I've now got it in my hands. This is a 1980 built Barazzi Mirage S. It's a slightly nicer MX8 is probably the easiest way of putting it. This one is a 27.5-inch skeet gun that weighs 8 pounds 3, and it is in here at £600 to £800. If you purchased it at the upper estimate with the 25% plus VAT commission, what's that, £1,040 in that ballpark? Not that bad for what is an extremely tidy looking gun. It is unfortunately a skeet gun and has porting on the front. We're going to go through downsides first. 27.5-inch barrels, not ideal, but you could find a spare set of barrels that you could get worked on there. The porting makes it very hard to have chokes fitted, but you know, skeet and skeet is good for skeet. And that's good, and sometimes other clays, but you could get a spare set of Barazzi barrels. They're relatively common. Stock spec wise, actually comes up very nicely. It's got quite an aggressive, short, high pistol grip, clearly made not for me. Cool things is that it's got a beaver tail forend that feels great. The stock design is pretty good. It's 14.5-inch stock. Yes, the pass rails are a little different, but you'd get used to it pretty quick. But it is really nice to put together, I suppose is the real cool thing. It is a quality and premium Barazzi. You take There's a trigger that drops out and drops back in. The trigger is adjustable on this little key on the back, and that just pinches back and forth, so you can adjust that quickly. Probably not that useful. Maybe it is. Is a quick moving trigger useful? I don't think so, but it is cool. It's a nice touch. That trigger unit inside is pretty flawless. In fact, this whole gun still feels good. A little bit of wear, top lever sitting over right. Everything I've seen about it looks solid. I don't think it's a rejoint. Oh. Yeah, it's been tightened up on the drawer. Yeah, it's been tightened up on that drawer. It's a bit of a bugger. Which means maybe it's had some unfortunate other work as well. Yeah, not as tight and tidy as it first appears, as many things are, but for £600 to £800, it's worth a look. Lot 6393C is a bargain 28 bore. And I'm not particularly in love with it, but I thought it was worth having a look at just based on everybody likes the idea of sub-gauge, apart from you. And most people don't want to invest for the first one because they just want to dibble their toe. This is 100 to 150 pounds Turkish non-ejector.
Yeah, ignore the fact that it's a non-ejector. Do you really need ejectors? Just something else to go wrong.
In a gun of this quality?
And when you've
very
got,
much so.
Yeah, exactly. When you've got cheap, you want as little to go wrong as possible because these are not designed to last 100 years. These are designed to fill a gap in the market where people want an entry-level gun for not very much money. And they do it successfully, but it's not going to last you longer than your kid's going to take to grow out of it, to be honest with you. But that really is the point of it. It's 100 quid for a 28 bore, which is a good starter gun for a youngster.
And if you want to just dabble your toe,
if you want to
shoot it once a year.
Exactly.
You don't ever take anything away, you can go out and have fun with it.
You can, yeah. And this has got some marks on the stock, a few dings and dents here, but it's still got the original manufacturer's label on it. So
shop soiled.
Clearly shop style. It's remained in stock.
We could sit here and rip this gun to shreds, but I think the reality is it is £100 brand new, basically.
Exactly. It's not much.
In the sale. That's not awful.
And it's a multi-choke. Does it come with chokes? I don't know. Are they in the box?
I don't know.
It's the sort of thing you have to look out for in the sealed bit. It's one of those things that, it might have multi-chokes in the end of the barrel, but you've just got to check the catalogue description to make sure that we mentioned there are with spares or not. Yeah. It's one of those things that you have to watch out for in the sealed bit.
Hunt Group have been around since 1992, so it's a name on probably a different gun. If you actually look on the barrels, it's made by Eche Salah, but that's the way in many countries, right? I'm not sure whether Hunt Group are just the marketing agent or, in fact, the retail arm, the Britishized, anglicised name for
who knows? Yeah, it could be.
Really knows?
There's more than one way to sell a gun.
But they've been on the global market, not particularly in England by the look of it, since 2008.
Yeah.
Look, you ain't buying one of these to give to your grandkids, as you said.
No,
but
it's a 2018 gun.
Proper sealed bid fodder.
Yeah.
Dip your toe at a 28 gauge before buying something decent.
Yeah.
Or not, as the case may be. When I look at them, right, there's little things that always put me off. Like when you look at these chambers where they've been polished and you can see the metal is of such low quality that it's softened around the edge.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for precision for the money, but we've looked at nice guns plenty in the past.
This is why these wear out, because the metal is not as high quality.
Yeah, and
it's as simple as that. And you can already see it just beginning to burr a little bit.
Yeah, just by being
opening and closing.
Closed.
Yeah, so it's just not. It's not going to last forever, but it's a short period of fun that is what you're going to have.
How do you feel about fast gun fashion? I've been quite vocal about it in the past. I think it's not great. I'd rather have a second-hand good gun than a new.
I work in the second-hand gun trade, so I'm completely with you there. Always have been. I would rather hunt out something good quality second-hand than I would buy new. Buying new is just like buying a new car. You're going to drop money as soon as you put a shot through it. You're going to drop VAT and you're going to drop value.
There is something nice. Quality new guns, when they're built for you or yours and you're going to buy it and keep it for life, it's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
It is a nice feeling. And if you're having something custom, it's a nice feeling.
It's that frisson of going in and buying something new that you've always wanted. I get it. I've done it.
Yeah.
I have since sold them on. But that feeling is transient. That's the thing. That's the beauty of hunting out something good.
You're just not buying good enough guns, that's the truth.
Maybe.
You need one that lacks the transience.
Yeah, but the cost of 2 children probably precludes that. So new or second-hand? I prefer second-hand because it's a more fun experience going out and hunting for something
pre-loved and good quality. This is different. This is not good quality, but this is fulfilling a part of the market that has buyers.
This one I spotted pretty quick on the Holts website. It's lot 6184. Immediately, when I saw the name Browning and saw the picture, I thought, they've got the wrong picture. But no, I then looked at the description. This is a Browning Morgan. It's 300 to 500 and is a weird little odd blip. I've seen a couple, never shared one with you. Let's have a look. This particular Morgan was made in 1985, and I believe the run of them was maybe a few months either side of 1985. They were not done for a long time. Browning was looking for affordable options. A few years earlier, 1979, they'd started a relationship. They actually started the relationship with Maruko a bit earlier, but for a shotgun relationship, 1979, they started producing the Japanese line of guns. And in the 80s, they were looking at adding something else to their bow, or another string to their bow, at least trying something new. And so they went to Beretta, the obvious Italian gun maker, and got some white labeled 680s. This one is what's that, 686 Onyx, I guess, underneath. Browning stamps, FN engraving on the flat cut hinge disc, so a slightly different variation there, with Morgan on the bottom. It says here, patent PB Italy with the patent number, and Browning's Arms Company. Those of you who know the outline know that this is an odd thing to have a Browning name on a Beretta gun, but Beretta were a different gun maker back then, right? Browning was a different gun maker back then. The world was just a different place. You would never think of this kind of thing happening now, but it did back then. It's cool. It's an interesting piece of history. It is just a 28-inch field gun, multi-choke with mobile chokes in the end, which is a good thing. There's a lot of obscure models of gun out there. This one's a pretty safe bet. It's cool because it says Browning on it. It's reliable because it's a 686 underneath. Overall, it wouldn't be a bad backup gun, pretty solid first gun, have in the cabinet, get people questioning what you've got. It's an interesting talking piece. It's my kind of low-grade collectible thing. Pretty worthless, but semi-interesting. Not that 300 to 500 is worthless, but it's affordable. I have only seen these guns in America. This was not a standard British import, which makes it quite special it being here, and is my first proper impressions for camera, and your first ever time having a look over a Winchester 101 2015 Rebirth edition.
Yeah, it's the 101 field. I've never seen one before.
Seen plenty of the classic 101 field, many hundreds probably, thousands.
And lots of Winchester super grades, and the other good guns from the 70s.
I mean, the 6500 is one of the best over and unders of all time.
Exactly.
For when it was, at least.
Yeah, this is different. It's got some interesting touches. The engraving is nicely styled. It seems to be maybe less so than the classic Winchesters, in my opinion. It's a centenary model, celebration model,
2016
to 2016, yeah.
Right, yeah. And what, classic Winchesters were late 70s till 86, 87,
yeah,
right?
And they make cracking guns. They handle beautifully. This handles in a much more deliberate, modern style. It's heavier, it's clumpier all round, and that is the way that gun making has drifted.
See, when they were launching it, I remember very well when they started doing their marketing for this and then said it wasn't coming to the UK. I was kind of sad, but I kind of see it now. It's not really a British looking design internally.
No.
It is a bit agricultural, I think.
Yeah.
Versus where I think we as the British market would expect it to be.
Yeah, we demand a little bit more refinement from our guns generally.
Because of the way that we use them.
Yeah,
right?
we tend to shoot lighter loads than American loads. I mean, the Americans are allowed to use much heavier loads in competition than we are. The rules mandate that we don't shoot anything more than a 28 grams. So
we also have a vast array of gunsmiths, whereas many other countries in the world do not have that ability. So
that's true.
Bigger, heavier,
more
perhaps
substantial,
a little
more
looser,
robust,
a bit more AK than
Yeah, and we come on to little touches on this gun where this drawer is replaceable.
That's a really cool touch.
It is, so that you can
It's a
tighten up.
well-designed gun.
That can be tightened without too much effort from, you know, a 7-year apprentice gunsmith having to do it properly, and this is just a swap out a part kind of gunsmithing. So
I think I'm right in saying it's made in Belgium. So
Okay.
I think there's a lot to be read into here.
Yeah.
Firstly, the original 101 was made in the coach plant in Japan.
Yeah.
At a time when that was a lot cheaper to do.
Yeah.
I remember this gun was retailing at around the 2,000 mark, which was not that expensive for a Belgian-made gun, given that the next grade up would have been like a B15,
Yeah.
which is more.
Yeah, substantially.
7 or 8 times more.
Yeah.
And so you have to look at it with those eyes, right? Is that it's not going to have the handmade refinement of these other guns. But it is still not bad. I think it's just a little clunkier than I wish it would be, given that I love those classic 101s as much as I do.
It's a totally different style of gun to the classic 101s. It's still got the Winchester name on it. It's still got the similar kind of shape to it.
Well,
It's just this. The
101's got a big locking bottom bite,
Yeah.
a la Browning, and this has a 2-piece lug a la Italy.
Yes. So it's different
Keeps
styles, but
the profile lower. It's a different gravy.
It is a different gun, but you can still see the touches of classic Winchesters in it. It's just
The wood, the finish, the checkering style.
it's just been to the gym. It's heft up.
Yeah, it's a different thing, right? Because it looks way svelterer.
You think?
Lower profile.
Well, yeah, but that's not necessarily where svelte comes from, I don't think.
Sleeker then.
It's the handling. It's the handling. It's not necessarily the profile, in my opinion. I like the handling of those classic Winchesters is another level to this. And we have to take into account the fact that somebody has changed that pad on the end, and this has been altered to fit somebody.
Yeah, we'll take into account it's £400 to £600.
Yeah, so it's not expensive.
It is a very reasonably priced gun for the quality. And when you actually look at it from that perspective, a classic 101 is in a similar, like a 6500 is also £400 to £600 for a good one.
Yeah.
This is 3-inch steel proofed, way better for modern loads.
Yeah, beefier,
Likely.
modern facing.
Multi-choked with chokes in a case.
Yeah.
It's got way prettier wood than many of the classic 101 era of guns.
Yep.
I just...
With good quality, but you also have to watch out for cracks as well, because sometimes higher figuring can promote
Certainly.
more fragility.
In American walnut.
Yeah. So just be aware of that. This one isn't cracked. This is in good nick. But it comes back to the question that we always face, which is, do you buy classic old or do you buy modern facing?
Having worked on a number of 6500s and 101 era guns, I can attest to the fact that we have very fond memories of the way they shoot, but they are getting to the era of being done.
Yeah.
Spare parts are
Really
almost
hard to
non-existent.
find, yeah.
The kickers are pretty much broken on
Yeah.
every single one, or cracked.
Yeah.
Some have been replaced.
Yeah.
The replacements are expensive.
Yeah.
Prohibitively expensive. Internal parts, some spares exist. Most don't.
You're almost having to buy a second gun to rob the parts
Yeah.
off it to get one to keep going.
We all love the way they slop open and closed.
Yeah.
But now, and they were like that from new,
Yeah.
but now they're pretty sloppy on the face. And they are getting to the point that you're going to need to invest serious money to keep them back on the road. And a bit like classic cars, right? There comes an era where they will start to rise in value because so many will just get written off.
Yeah.
And I
they
think we
become
will
rarer.
see
Yeah.
that with that era of guns.
Yeah. You're probably true. Yeah, you're
Soon.
right. Yeah.
I mean, listen, they're never going to be worth megabucks, but they will become more desirable as more die.
Yeah, and as we move towards, a different era in the cartridges that we are required to use, maybe this is where people should be.
It's a more intelligent future purchase for sure. But I guess not. I was really excited to get my hands on it. And I think this is a classic case of a relaunch, getting too excited for a relaunch.
Yeah.
It's like, try not to get too excited for movies either. That I
Yeah.
think is going to be good.
It can be a triumph of marketing over substance.
Because if you just put that gun in your hands and it didn't say Winchester 101 on it, you go, objectively, it's quite good. But it's got a hell of a thing to live up to.
Yeah, you expect more, don't you?
I can't have just expected a brand new version of a 6500.
No, it
that
isn't.
would have done me.
Yeah, but it isn't.
No,
It's a different gun.
It's going to take getting our heads around, probably. Probably should have thought about it and let it soak in first. But first impressions are
they
often
matter.
interesting.
They matter. You have to enjoy what you shoot. And for some people, and everyone's different in the style that they shoot, this will be perfect. For others, it will be completely wrong. So it does make a difference. If you can come down and view the seal bid, this is where you get your hands on guns like this to find out whether it is or it isn't for you.
This is a Remington 105 CTI 2. It's got 5706 at 3 to 500. Interesting is the name of the game. In 2006, Remington wanted to offer a lighter weight, softer recoiling semi-automatic shotgun. And so they looked at how to reduce weight using the similar gas system to the 1100 under here. And the answer was, what's lightweight? Plastic, carbon fiber, titanium. Carbon, titanium. We've got a carbon fiber shroud over investment cast titanium action. And the rib is carbon fiber. This gun is 2009 and it's called the CTI 2. The original CTI 1 was supposed to be launched in 2005, ended up being launched in 2006. And, well, it's pretty revolutionary in a lot of ways. Titanium, carbon fiber, carbon. They had a special bore barrel and a turbo load system, but also a bottom ejection. There are some successful bottom feeding and ejecting pumps. This was not a successful semi-automatic design. It suffered reliability issues when it came to feeding and ejecting, given that it had to do both from the same hole. Given that first one didn't work, they very hurriedly redesigned some of the working system and brought out the 105 CTI 2, but that ceased production not long after in 2009. So this is a final year production gun. I mean, it's got a load of cool features, and you know, my understanding of these is that when they worked, they were quite good because of the way all of the weight is distributed and the way the bolt works. You had a sort of a two-phase recoil. It wasn't a hard-hitting gun in your own shoulder and face. And it's kind of cool, right? Because you're going feed, 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 empty, 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 all through one hole, nice and simple. Looks-wise, I mean, it is what it is. It's hardly a beautiful piece of wood. It's a shame because that action design with all the carbon fiber and stuff is kind of cool. I'm always down for anything new semi-automatic wise. Anything that pushes the boundaries of technology is good, but it does kind of have to work. For 3 to 500, I'd be tempted just to buy it so I can rip it apart and have a look how it works, because it is a kind of fascinating system. You've got this little button here that lets the bolt forward. The bolt is really short, or at least shorter and in a different proportion to other bolts. And when you look underneath, there's a lot of stuff going on. Usually, that's not a good thing with semi-automatics, but it is really interesting. The bottom line is any gun that was marketed with something called turbo load is somewhat appealing. It could be too much of a risk, I think, as a daily driver, not knowing how reliable this one is. I can't imagine there are many in the UK, but I like it. Like, when you say this gun's 2009, that doesn't feel that long ago, but it is a long time ago, and a lot has changed in gun design since then. But there's a lot of cool little things, you know. Often we talk with Sam about the things that were changing rapidly. Things have changed since 2009, like the laser engraving of the 105 on the front has gone out of fashion, come back into fashion as a concept. The lines and the carbon fiber and the titanium was a real progressive. Still would be considered very progressive. It's a shame they never got it working. I guess because of the general action design and the way that investment casting of titanium works and the way that carbon fiber works, they couldn't even have it as a side eject. All of that interesting information by the by. It's got quite a cool Remington thing on the bottom, and at the back it's got one of these hideous curved plates. They might be good at reducing recoil, but it's a standard mark of a manufacturer, just assuming that everyone is the perfect shape to fit their gun. This is annoying, because if you have to cut it for a pad, you lose then another ½ inch. I mean, it's a minor flaw on a general design that was kind of flawed. I'd love to try one of these. As I said, my understanding is they were good when they worked. But reliability is really key with guns, for the most part. Guns that don't work all of the time are a pain in the butt. When that's with a fine double gun, I guess you can kind of accept it sometimes. An auto, you want to work all the time. Before we leave this small room full of cool accessories, I thought we'd best look at a rifle today, and this was my choice. 4801. It's a Lee Enfield 2.2 conversion, training thing. I know literally nothing about it other than I shot one once at a gun club. It's quite fun, isn't it? The whole thing is quite fun. It's got all of the hallmarks of the gun we know and love, the Lee Enfield. Is it marked? M192 1948. Matching numbers? All these things don't actually matter to me. But I like the idea of owning one of these one day and just sitting and shooting plates at 50 yards in a field with 2.2. I love shooting 303s, I love shooting old Lee Enfields for sure. But it doesn't have to get costly nowadays, right? To go and have a good day's banging, if you shot 40 rounds and you're not home loading, it's £1 a pop, £1.50 a pop. It's not crazy money, but on top of all the other things, you can get that way. 2.2, still what? 10, 12, 13 pound, 100, depending on what quality you're buying. A lot more if you want something really good. But with just blinking ammo, you could have a lot of fun with something like this. And it can't just be me who has all those sort of, maybe too many Commando comics as a kid, or too many movies as a kid, just still loves that Enfield design action, to hold feel in the hand. It's a kind of patriotic, historic, silly man thing. Simon, I know you're not going to like this.
Yeah, it's not my thing, is it?
No, I mean, it's shiny for starters. Guys, this is lot 6462C, a Meraki-built Finn Classic 512S. A rethought, slightly redesigned, but basically based off of the Valmet 412S.
Yeah.
But made in Italy to a different standard and slightly different spec. Designed as a bit of an all-rounder, this particular one being SC, which I presume stands for sporting clothes.
Yeah, it's more than likely it's got that kind of spec, isn't it?
Sporter Chrome. As you can see, it looks like it's in the white, but it's not. It is a flat chromed finish. What's that? 30 inch? Got to be best part.
29 and a bit, I think, is in the catalogue.
29 and a bit, some centimetric
it'll be
finish. You've got a clip-on for a scope, so you can shoot slug through it. And the real purpose of this action, certainly why people go mad for Valmets in different countries where laws are different, is you can clip 4 different barrels into it.
Okay.
12 gauge,
sub
gauge, rifle gauge, and have one action that does many
everything
thing.
for you. Yeah.
Not necessarily the best option, but if that's what you got, it's pretty cool. This particular one I quite like. You've got a double-sided palm swell, big fat adjustable comb. The stock is perhaps in need of a bit of cast, or deciding whether it is in fact left or right-handed, but that's not everything.
No.
The action has this sliding shroud. That's cool. The ejectors are big. That means they won't snap.
Hopefully.
We've got a vented mid and top rib, double bead sight can go to hell, and multi-chokes which come in the case, and it's 300 quid.
It's not expensive,
Look,
is it?
it's probably...
Don't forget the cocking indicators.
Oh, this gun has cocking indicators,
There you
an
are.
indication that these guys went a step further. Or they had 2 holes, and they needed to fill them with something.
Exactly. If the recoil wasn't enough to tell you which barrel had been fired.
Yes, so it's quite interesting. On the trigger you've got the selector, and on the top when you fire it, the cocking indicator disappears.
Descends, look at that.
Well, you're about to find out which one you can reload again by the fact that the cartridge pops out of the barrel with the ejectors. But you know,
it is fascinating.
It's a big, strong thing, though, isn't it? It's not full of refinement, but it is beefy.
If I put you in Bulgaria, in the mountains, this is not a bad thing to have. I don't know why Bulgaria, but
when you're 2,000 miles away from a gunsmith, you need a blacksmith to be able to fix it if it goes wrong, or you need it not to go wrong.
Yeah, and these are, I've never seen that's a lie, I have actually seen a broken Valmet. 212.
Okay.
Is it 212? I can't entirely remember the model. Yeah, issues with the trigger, but that was a 50-year-old gun, so that's fine. Come on, it's not that bad.
It's not. It's not designed to be refined, elegant. It's designed to be beefy.
I think it's quite elegant, mate.
You think it's elegant?
I really do.
Okay.
Like, because you've got all these straight lines and the twin chrome thing between the bead blaster bit and the polished bit and the jagged edges, it definitely has a look. It's a look.
It's certainly a look. Yeah, it's
It's nothing like it's not you.
no, it's really
For
not.
sure.
It's really not. I mean, I expect a little bit more refinement even in the over and unders that I like. So, but it is a tool for a job, isn't it? It's not.
That's all I'm going to get out of
It's
you.
not
isn't it?
art.
We're not going to. Like that. That is modern art.
Is it?
This is Italian Banksy. It is a spray painted mural on a building.
All right, pressure wash it off and get him to redo it.
We need there's going to be a vote in the comments. I don't think it looks bad. I don't think it looks anything like you expect a shotgun to look like.
Which is sometimes a good thing.
But I think it works well. I don't hate it. I've seen worse.
I've seen worse.
I think the £300 to £500 market, certainly in the sealed bid, let alone on the wider world, is a tough place to be for a gun.
It is.
And that will be its downfall,
Yeah.
if anything, in value.
Appreciate its versatility. I like the fact that they've gone to the effort of putting a dovetail there where you can fit a scope and the recessed block for the mount to fit in. There are elements there that I can appreciate.
It's not a British gun, is it now?
Well, they don't all have to be British. There are plenty of very, very well-made, strong guns from other countries.
No, I meant for client-based
Yeah,
wise.
yeah.
From a user perspective, this is not designed for the British market.
No, it's not.
But that hard silver chrome would make it very versatile as a not rusting gun.
Yeah, you could drop it into seawater and it wouldn't rust.
I mean, if it was like more in the £200 mark, I'd buy it. We could find out. I don't hate it. I mean, that's as far as I'm going to go on it. I love the fact it's got big course checkering. There's a lot I admire about this gun.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I feel like it's a bit dirty to like it.
It's for frontier use, isn't it? It's really for, being out on the edge of the wild where you want to be able to grip it, not slip. You want to be able to drop in slugs into it when you face something that you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for, isn't it? All of those pieces of design that I think are a little bit hefty are actually there for a reason. And it's not a reason that we face.
I was going to see something really interesting. It's got wood. There is no metal to metal fit on the round of the action.
Well spotted.
I've seen it on the originals, and I always thought, I wonder why that is. And I guess you've got a metal bearing surface.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to me that there's not much bracing there.
Doesn't look strong
And
enough.
then
does it?
from like the action design, you have to look and you go, we've got a hook and hinge, we've got a lock up over the top, and in the bottom you've got a draw piece. There is no need to be bracing on a forend, which is inherently
strong.
a cool design.
Yeah.
So you must at least admit that it's a cool design.
Yeah, there's thought has gone into it. It's not just thrown together, this, isn't it?
It's very... Well, when you haven't got a forend to hold yourself together, you need to be put together right.
It's got to be strong in other places, isn't it?
I really do admire the fact this is put together better than a Valmet.
Yes, I'm with you there.
It's bigger, it's stronger, the design is better, and the way it goes together does indicate that it's pretty well built.
Yeah, the more I look into the depths of it, again, you've got to look far past the surface. My initial horror when you open the case is now waning a little bit, and I'm beginning to appreciate the inherent strength in here is...
That's good engineering.
There's not a lot left to chance.
That is a well-built gun.
Yeah, they're not hoping the forend's going to tighten it. They are building it so that it doesn't need it.
I like it.
I get why you do. I do get why you do.
Yeah. We've looked at a lot of weird and wonderful stuff.
Yep, we have.
We've got a couple of sensible choices, of which there is plenty.
I know, we went all sensible all of a sudden. It must be the post-lunch thing. But yeah, we have got a couple of Berettas here. One classic claybuster, one classic game gun.
Yeah, a 1980 686 special.
Yeah.
Literally cannot go wrong.
Nope, 28-inch fixed choke.
Quarter and a half.
Nice, tight, clean, tidy.
Yeah,
It's going to do what you want it to
get
do.
it, knock that half out into another quarter, and go and shoot whatever you want through this gun.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But
Bigger
that's
clay, brother.
Way cooler.
It is. It's one of the classic clay guns. This is 2008, and it's a 682 Gold E from Beretta. It's everything you want to do. It's got nice... I always liked this checkering.
I hated it.
You hated it.
It has grown on me so much. Every time I see one now, I'm thinking, Yeah, that was actually really cool.
It was different, and it doesn't cut your hands.
No, it works well, it's simple.
Really rough cut diamond checkering can be quite hard on the hands.
Something on sporting clays where you're
Yeah.
gripping in and making the move 4 or 5 times,
Absolutely.
100 shells a day.
And if you're shooting a 200 target competition, you don't want to be gripping really, really harsh checkering. So that was a good, thoughtful application of.
There's a 682 over there with hand checkering. That's a lovely thing as well.
Yeah. But with these clay guns, you always want to check whether you've got, as you know, dings in the rib. But this one is reasonably clean. It's missing the little white insert of the foresight, but you don't like a foresight on your overlander.
Relatively cheap to replace anyway,
it's
right?
not difficult, is it? Screws in. And
chokes are replaceable because it's just a mobile.
Yeah, and they're everywhere.
It's a simple thing.
Yep.
It's good, it's clean. I think it's important, like you said, with old clay guns, given that there's a couple of 682 X-traps over there in varying conditions.
Yeah, they're not great. They're not great.
Worth getting a condition report.
Yes, it is. Always get a condition report, and we will tell you all the warts that we see, all the cracks, the niggles, the dinks, the dents, a general opinion of how it closes, opens, ejects, if it's safe, if the safety's functional. Everything's tested with snap caps, not with live ammunition, it's with snap caps. But we will give you an idea of whether it's worth what we put on it.
We looked earlier at Turkish guns.
We did.
We spoke about buying second hand. You still have to buy conscientiously. I can understand why a newer shooter, less confident, less connected in the community, gunsmiths, understanding of how quick repairs can happen, etc., would go new on a budget. But I think certainly buying secondhand is a little bit more of a process. You ask for the condition report, you read it, you understand, you ask, is it going to be good? Don't just buy a bargain and hope it's good.
Yeah.
Actually read into the process.
You do.
For that gun, for £400 on top, you can replace every single part and have it literally brand new.
Yeah. And one of the great clay guns of its era.
Still stands up today pretty well.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
You want to go and shoot club level clays to a high level? There's nothing that won't crush.
No. 500 to 700 quid estimate.
That game gun's 3 to 5.
There you go.
There is intelligent options. Maybe we should, I spent years looking at the intelligent options.
Yeah, but we're far too sensible in this last little segment that we've just done.
But yeah, what a winning gun, right? You can get that for under $1,000, you're really in, and it's tidy.
It is
super tidy. This is going to be a relatively quick one, Simon. Lot 7042. It's got some interesting patentry.
It is. It's one of those patents that, and there were a lot of these around in 1890, which is when this gun was built. The gun makers trying to differentiate themselves from each other, coming up with different ideas, coming up with different patents.
Holly did a lot of it. Different grips, different safeties, different everything.
He clearly had one of those fizzy brains that just never switched off and came up with new ideas a lot.
The safety catch is the interesting. I mean, the lock plates are what drew me to it first, and understanding that this was not going to be a normal gun, but the safety catch locks under the top
locks under the top lever.
Will not come back until
you open the top lever. Yeah,
you do that.
Arguably, there's no real benefit other than the fact that it's different, and you being different in the marketplace of 1890, 1900 was a good thing. It didn't catch on because it's pretty ugly, pretty ungainly, and there were other better options around.
And if the top lever is ever so slightly out of line, it transpires. It doesn't
go.
Yeah.
So
Cool
not a great
concept.
design. But as a piece of historical interest when it comes to gun making patents, it's 150 quid's worth.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's all it is.
This is a chuck in the cabinet and have an interesting thing if you want to have a collection, but there is no genuine purpose to buy this for a using gun.
Other than it being nicely engraved, interesting to look at, and a different patent.
I mean, it is interesting to look at, and the fact that it's got a spring as a safety catch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is interesting.
Yeah, it is. Uniformity is bad, and different things are good. To put it in its most simple terms.
That's definitely oversimple.
But there's a reason that we all settled on the way that a lot of side locks and a lot of box locks were built. It's because it was the best way of doing it at the time. And a lot of the patents that were being developed, the ones we kept, almost like engineering Darwinism, the ones we kept were the ones that were the most successful, the most elegant, the most effective.
I listened to a podcast once that put it very eloquently. It was an American podcast. This is horse. You need a lot of horse to grow roses.
Lovely metaphor. Look at that.
I haven't got a better one.
No, fair enough.
But it stuck with me. I'm like, it's true.
It's
you
probably
need
true.
to
Yeah.
crack some eggs to make a cake or whatever the phrase is.
Are we killing this metaphor thing now?
I don't know. Have you got any better ones for this?
Give me a minute.
A man who never made a mistake never made nothing.
There you go.
And so if you make a lot of mistakes, you'll make a lot of things.
Okay, what websites have you been on recently?
All right, next up is 7202. Which I'm very keen to see because I've never actually spent time with one of these. I say that maybe I've had one through my hands at a previous Holts sale. This is a Winchester Model 24, the ugly, slightly less good quality cousin of the Model 21. Having seen it in pictures, or certainly having seen some nicely refurbished ones in pictures, coming and seeing a good, honest one in 7202 is interesting to me. Value-wise, I have no idea. I'll have to look it up in the online catalogue, but I don't believe them to be expensive. 7202. Interesting. So this is actually a stock and action, meaning this gun is not for sale without the barrels being chopped permanently on the inside, so they'll need to be cut and sleeved, meaning this gun is out of proof and would not pass proof, which is kind of a shame. What that does mean is that this 24 is 15 to 25 pounds. It's a shame, because a gun of this quality and value is not really worth doing up. Hold on, look at that. Come have a look at this. We've got a rib shroud over the actual back end of the barrel. I suppose that saved doing a proper job in terms of sticking them together and getting them to line up. The fact that Winchester kind of mechanised gun making is real interesting, and this was a semi-affordable thing is semi-interesting. The fact that these are worth money in America is pretty crazy to me, because, yeah, let me take you through this. This gun dates from 1939 and has the Winchester hard heel plate at the back. We've got grade 1 wood with no checkering, a safety catch that is automatic and pushed by the top lever, cammed by the top lever coming back. We have double triggers, no articulation. Honestly, the quality of the metalwork is agricultural. The triggers are, however, hand finished. Not very nicely, unfortunately. The gap between the front and back trigger is small, not so pleasant. And the top lever on this one is well over. Given the rest of the quality of this gun, I don't know. Maybe I need to find a good one. Maybe this being my first exposure is a bad thing. Who knows? The forend has no checkering on it either. That was standard and is just on a snap fit. Oh my goodness. I doubt this is supposed to be stick welded on. That's what wrote this gun off. A little bit of ignorance. That will have probably, if we look inside, pulled the inside of the barrels and basically made this gun completely unsellable, unusable, and unworkable forever. Unless that is a standard on a 24, but I doubt that very much. Right, let's cover that atrocity back up. Luckily, the barrels are quite filthy, so you can't really see, and being a Winchester of this era, I presume the barrels are so thick that you could probably get away with it. However, that heat means the gun will need to be re-proofed. Whether it would pass, who knows, but 25 quid plus the cost of proof. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know a lot about these things' value in the UK because there aren't many. And presumably, like most American guns, it can look ugly as sin, but it will probably put birds on the floor. But yeah, I'm struggling. Like, I'm at Winchester 21. That's a nice thing. Am I missing something? I don't know. If any of you are into your 24s, I'd love you to explain the turn on to me, because there's nothing about that I find pleasant. If it was shootable, not just a barrel action, I'd buy it just out of curiosity to go shoot it and have a look inside. Just the way these ejectors work, everything about this is a curiosity to me. Maybe we should just buy it anyway with the cut barrels. That's not a bad idea. Simon, this looks like a little bit of you. It
is me.
Nearly £8, built in 1910.
Yep.
700 to 900 quid, so it's affordable. What's 6943? A Hellis lump of gun, 30-inch flat filed rib pistol grip.
It's a live pigeon style sidelock ejector. Hellis, really, really good maker. Kind of flies under the radar because a lot of his guns were short barrel, 25, 26, 27 inch.
I've seen a few small bores over the years. But
yeah, occasional small bores. He was actually more famous in his era for loading cartridges than he was. That's where the bulk of his business in London was. He was a massive cartridge reloader. But this is one of his better and more unusual sidelocks. It's not stock to the fences, so it's not the highest quality, but it's a 3-inch chambered, wide file cut rib, live pigeon style gun, and it's a cracker actually. The engraving all over is sparse on the locks plates with this
yeah, it's a different thing, right? Given when you look at the bottom of it, you think it's going to be quite a serious...
Yeah, I mean it's more heavily engraved on the underside than it is on the side plate. But Hellis did this as well. He had this kind of feather engraving, a really wide border edge to the engraving, nice, which is it's just classic Hellis, and you can almost, when you see that, go, it's Charles Hellis. But it's an unusual gun for him. What lets it down slightly is the shape of the stock. It's a little bit bent and twisted in different areas that wouldn't suit most people. Clearly it was altered for a chap who had either peculiar shoulder problems or peculiar eye problems, or possibly both. So it might need quite a little fettling to get it right, and also there's some hefty dents in the top left horn there, which need refinish.
We discussed in the main cell, you could always have it restocked and save that stock.
Yes.
If you wanted to turn this into something for you for a number of years,
yes,
it's quite an investment.
It is.
But it's a 3-inch, 30-inch barrel, pipe choked, very usable gun.
Yeah, it is.
It wouldn't be the end of the world to have it restocked if you really wanted to take that for you.
There is a possibility of a halfway house as well, that if you wanted to splice on something onto the pistol grip, it can be done these days. There's some very, very good stockers out there who can do all kinds of different things without having to go into the inletting work of actually...
It saves an awful lot of time splicing a stock.
It really does. So it's not always the recommended course of action, but it is an option.
Overall, not a bad purchase. It's a shame about that stock.
It is.
But everything else on it is very solid.
It's really nice other than that. But we can't have all the things we want in a gun. So, yeah, it does need... You do need a little bit of caution applied.
I think he got hungry in the middle of a drive or something.
Well, it looks like that always just thacked it into something in the back of a gun bus and it's repeatedly smacked it there.
That's annoying, isn't it? But
there we go.
Big lump of gun, that.
It is. It is. It's... I mean, if you're looking for a side-by-side to shoot around sporting clothes with, which is what I love doing, that wouldn't be a bad option.
It's a damn good start, isn't it? Just very
And you don't often see them in side lock form, under £1,000 anyway. It's nice thing.
Awful.
It's not. It's doable, but it needs quite a lot of bending back into proper regulation for most normal people. Not saying that you're normal there, Johnny, but you know, some of us are.
Yeah, not that pleasant.
No, it's wrong, isn't it? It is all wrong, shape-wise.
Looks good though.
It does.
That's half the battle. Hey, look, this is our second black powder proof only gun of the day.
Yeah, we're going down the smoky road, aren't we?
This one's a bit different though.
It is.
Because it's, I mean, feel the weight in those barrels. That
this
immediately says to me, you could work on those. That could have some nitrofuge.
I mean, you handle enough barrels, you get to know what is lightweight for all the wrong reasons. Because some barrels were built lightweight. They left the factory at 18th thou because they were designed to be very, very fast handling. This is beautiful quality Damascus, best British Damascus. 30-inch black powder proof barrels, and it's got heft. But when you put the gun together... Yeah,
the barrels are not the exciting part of this gun either.
No, there is a lot to love about this gun. And normally, if you say Cogswell and Harrison, box lock non-ejector with a greener side safety to me, I'm automatically not really interested. Yeah. But again, this is a classic case of you need to go deeper. And you need to look a little bit deeper and don't just turn off because it's got the wrong name on it. This is a very early, and you can tell it's early because the cocking dogs here are the rounded, very strong type. This is the second iteration. It's not the first iteration of the Anson and Dealey box lock. The first iteration had cocking dogs that looked like bottom of fencing stakes.
It says this is 18...
So this is 1879.
Very early, given that original Anson's 74?
Yeah.
Ish?
Yeah. It has had some work because you can see in here there is a dovetail insert to the hook which has tightened it up onto the
nicely
action.
Done though.
But it's done well.
I mean, repairs happen, mate.
Repairs do happen. It's
good repairs are
very,
worth
very old
having.
gun. But it locks up beautifully. It's got a patent grip catch there, which is stunning. It's got a Scott spindle. and a very, very elegant top lever. Bolstered fore ends. Don't be put off by the side safety, because the side safety, although we've catalogued it as a Greener style because it gives you an indication of what it is, Greener's rolls.
This is positive.
That goes straight forward. That is different and much, much more usable.
You could,
It's lovely.
It's not in an inconvenient place.
No.
Like I always find the green ones a bit high. You have to awkwardly move your hand. Whereas this, you could just bang, we're ready.
And it's a really beautiful gun, and it handles beautifully. Beautiful wood.
I mean, if you're
wood to metal fit.
Fine scroll engraving.
That is it.
That's as good as it gets.
It is.
Beautiful adornment with flowers. Like that is a good looking gun. That was done with skill and talents.
Yeah. It's really lovely. 200 quid. It's a cracker. It is black powder only. We should re-emphasize that. So be aware of that. But
you can shoot nitro through it at your own risk. You should not do that.
Yes.
The whole point in proof is making sure the gun is capable of taking the ammunition you put in it.
Exactly.
But you could get some black and...
It's a lovely thing. It's a lovely thing. It really is. It's just proper gun making. A few frills, everything done well. But it's the elegance of things, the way these top levers of this era sometimes were sculpted in. I have a hammer gun with a very similar top lever. It's one of the reasons I bought it. It's because of the shape as it rounds the top. It's the length and it's the elongation of that. The guy who made that had the whole finished product in mind when he made it. So it's one of my picks of the sale. I think it's absolute cracker.
Wait for 200 quid.
Yeah.
7046C comes with a case. Original case.
The original case. The label has been slightly plastered over with
slow gin or something.
The name of, actually it's not, it's his game license. Look, license to kill game.
Oh, that's
And that's gone over the label.
Super cool.
Really lovely thing.
We like history.
Yeah, we do. We like guns like that. Good quality.
I mean,
a few frills.
We're talking touches. Look
the way that Damascus just
bead.
You see the grain of the Damascus steel on that bead. And the way it flows in to the back of the fence.
We're losers.
I know.
It really has occurred to me during this film.
Touches like that, you know? Come on, this is what makes us smile.
That's hard.
Don't apologise for smiling. Don't ever apologise.
Got to admire that.
You have.
That's incredible.
If you don't like things like that, we can never be friends. Let's put it that way.
It's a strange way to pick friends.
It is. It's a real strange way to pick friends. It's a small club.
Man, what for £200?
You know, we've looked at pretty average gun making. We've looked at bad gun making. This is good gun making.
It's 150 years old.
Yeah. Still going strong.
Nick, mate, this has been a really good sale. I spent a lot of time going through the catalogue and actually really struggled to whittle it down to 20 guns that we were going to show today. The main sale was epic, and I think the sale has gone extremely well.
90% we sold in the main sale. It's 90%.
Solid.
That just blew me away. And for good prices, which just shows me that what we auction, what we sell, is still very much wanted.
Yeah, and it seems to be getting more and more so every year. Side-by-sides were in a bit of a slump, right?
Yeah.
Certainly stuff like box lock ejectors were in a bit of a slump, and it's nice to see them being valued by people all over the world.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, everybody out there. It was a worry seeing the box locks just go, but now they're up.
Well, they're not overpriced, right?
No.
They're where they need to be again, which is
Yeah.
nice, because there are some special guns out there.
Do you particularly like the seal bid, or would you prefer the main sale?
It's a really good question, you know. I feel like the sealed bid is more me. Certainly when we first started doing it, there were...
Is that why you like, because you like cheap things?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, bluntly, I can't afford the things I want in the main sale, so it's safer that I don't go there. No, I think the main sale is full of some of the best guns in the world. There's a reason we keep coming back auction after auction, because you get to come and see some things you will never see before. But the sealed bid, there's a lot of curiosities, right? I'm just about to film with this one. Yeah. It's a Holland & Holland 16-bore single shot. It's not Holland & Holland, it's H&H. Branded 16-bore single shot, 40 to 60 pounds, give or take. Lots 65.97. It's been badly restocked, and it's not in the best of order. But stuff like this is what turns me on. I could own a Holland & Holland for 60 quid.
Exactly.
I don't particularly want to, because it's not a Holland I want.
Yeah.
But for those looking to take their first steps on the classic gun ladder, or even find curios you'll never see again, this is the room.
Thank you for watching TGS Outdoors. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. This channel would not be possible without the support of our amazing sponsors. They've supported the channel for a long time. We only work with people we love and whose product we trust. If you want to support the channel too, make sure you check out channel memberships. There's early access content, there's some pretty cool exclusive release content.
My view is you never want to let the bird get past you because you can't see under your gun.
And occasionally we go clay shooting together. We just appreciate your support. Even if you can't, your view is great. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
Wake up, I'm about to shake up every little thing, show you all that we can be. Come dance in my club.